Hello, my name is Matthew Connor, and I'm with Exit 40 Productions. Podcasting has exploded in popularity in recent years. Used to be no one could even define the word podcast, but now, over 61% of all Americans listens to a podcast on a monthly basis, and that number is only increasing. The second largest category of podcasts are religious podcasts, or specifically Christian podcasts. They used to be the largest form of show, but they've declined in popularity in recent years. So why is this? We believe there are two main factors at play here. First, there are issues with content, and second, there are issues with production. So the first is content issues. A lot of this is shallow. It's not made for podcasts. It's like sermons people have thrown up online, and they're not that interesting to listen to. They preach the lowest common denominator rather than assuming the intelligence of their audience and really trying to teach them something new. Another issue is the production. A lot of the audio quality on these shows is very poor, and it takes you out of the experience of listening to podcasts and makes you less likely to listen to certain shows. And it hampers them because people don't want to hear their message because they're so distracted by either issues of content or issues with the production. So that's where we come in. Exit 40 Productions is a Christian podcasting, consulting, and producing firm. We understand who the podcast audience is and what they want. And so we're going to work with churches and pastors to attract new listeners and to make the experience more enjoyable for current ones. Our first service is our production service. They send us the audio and we send them back a completed podcast. And we handle all the back end stuff and all of the editing so that way they can focus on making great content. We will charge about 50 cents to $1, depending on how much work we've got to do and how long the show is. The second service we offer is our consulting. And so that's where we believe we're going to make the majority of our money. So we'll charge anywhere from $45 an hour to $65 an hour. And on the low end, we'll work with them on improving the quality of their scripts, work with the host on becoming a more engaging public speaker, and other stuff like that. On the higher end, at the $65 range, that's where we come in and we make new graphics, we improve the premise, we come up with a marketing strategy, and stuff along that line. How big is our market? Conservatively, we estimate our market to be around 150,000 churches, because that's the number of churches that have 100 members to 1,000 members. And so this is the sweet spot where we think they're big enough to where they are already involved with podcasting at some capacity, but they don't have as many resources as some of these mega churches. So that's where we try and close the gap. So what's our growth strategy? We're going to build a regional base of support in Knoxville as a proof of concept, show that we are good at what we do and that we're worth the money. Once we prove those two things, we're going to go to the corporate offices of a lot of the major denominations in America, places like the Southern Baptist Convention, the United Methodist Church, and others, so we can establish an affiliate relationship with them and get access to the tens of thousands of churches they have under their umbrella. This is going to allow us to grow quickly and with relatively little expense, because it would take us a lot of time and a lot of money to be able to reach some of these places. That's going to allow us to grow the consulting business quickly. But that's not the end of Exit 40 Productions. That's the beginning. Once we can do those two things, once we have grown the consulting business, we're going to get into original podcast productions. That's going to allow us to make money through ad revenue and through a subscription service that ordinary customers can get involved with, and they can get extra content, behind the scenes stuff, talk with the hosts, and more stuff like that. Once the original productions are successful, then we're going to get into music and television and whatever else comes next. We want to build this into an entire media group. And we see the Christian podcasting space as our way into the entertainment industry. We've identified a relatively untapped market, which is rare in the entertainment industry. So we need to act fast. What would we do if we won the Grapes competition? So we would use the money for further customer discovery. We've already done some preliminary market research. We've talked to a couple of different pastors who have podcasts, as well as an expert in the field who produces one of the largest shows in America right now. They verified that we have identified a real problem in the market and that we have proposed an effective solution. However, we need to do more extensive research to figure out the ideal price point for some of our services, as well as making sure that our services are tailored to fit the needs of most churches. We would also set aside a small portion of the money to buy some software we would use down the road. Once again, I'm Matthew Connor with E40 Productions, and I want to thank you for your time today.